correct one, they lose them. They lose pieces of applications. Sometimes I think they lose them even when you send them in as a packet. So the more we can reduce that kind of potential for error, the better off we are. Okay, any questions?
So both these exams, Neha and the rest of the RS, they're just offered basically once a year?
At a one site, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the State Board of Registered Sanitarians is charging now. It used to be it was a few dollars cheaper than the NEHA exam. The difference is that when the state offers it, usually at their annual meeting, they set the rate. Of course, they have to pay NEHA for the examination itself. But they set the rate and they set the passing score. The passing score for NEHA is 68%. RS boards can set it at 65%, they can set it at 70%. Those are probably the three most common numbers, 65, 80, 68, and 70. The problem is that if you take the RS and you become a registered sanitarian, let's say in Oregon, and the passing score in Oregon is 65%, and you then move to Washington, then there's not automatic reciprocity between Washington and Oregon. So you would have to prove that you met the passing score in Washington. Let's say it was 70%. You would have to prove that show them your results from your examination that you met the criteria. If you get 68%, then it's NEHA, and that's probably the most common one these days. But there may be states that want a higher standard.
Also, the membership of the NEHA, is that once a year? Or
Yeah, that's annual. Other questions? Okay, now, complete the NEHA application, turn it into me, get an official copy of your transcript. Susan and I are very happy to deal with unofficial in our advising and doing things, but for this you're going to have the official transcript in the sealed envelope with the registrar's stamp or tape, whatever it is across the back. So for heaven's sakes, after you pay the money for it, don't open it. And then you need a check for the fees, both the application fee and the examination fee. And if I recall right, that comes up to $190, assuming you join the NEHA. Then what? That brings us to studying for the exam. And we have created a seminar course for spring quarter, Environmental Health 497 Special Electives, that's going to be devoted to providing you with an opportunity to study for the RS exam. It meets Thursdays at 2:30 in T663. At least that's the schedule that I have. What I'm proposing is the first day of class is April 1st, and what I suggest is I have a self-assessment exam that was developed by NEHA many years ago that is fairly similar to the RS, although it may not have as many questions. And what I'm thinking is that we will administer the exam to everybody that's registered for the course or wants to sit in on the course, because I've had some expressions of interest from some of our recent graduates that they'd also like to get involved in the study. So if they can make the seminar, that would be fine. So on the first week, I'm proposing to proctor or give the exam. The second week, we will sort of go through it question by question as a class project, and you will grade your own exams that you took. And then somehow I need to get that back. I'll probably collect them in that class and then plug that into a spreadsheet that I have that shows you which questions, what each question is, and the way the exam is constructed. There are the program areas, air and food and water and noise and radiation and all that. And then there are functional areas that now sort of more or less correspond to the essential services environmental. So there's questions on supervision, there's questions on legal aspects, there's questions on data gathering and things like that. And so someplace in the exam you're going to have questions that deal with all of those aspects. And by taking a look and sticking you in your exam scores into the matrix, I can show you or give you a printout that will show you what areas you did well in and which ones you need to spend some practice on. Caveat in there, for instance, housing. You're either going to get 100% or you're going to get 0% because there's only one question. So it's not, for that particular category, it's not a very sensitive indicator. For others like food, it may well be much more appropriate. Okay, and then from that point on, what we'll do is pick an area based on what you guys are telling us that you want to study more about. We may bring in, so let's say that you want to brush up on toxicology. We may bring in one of our toxicology faculty to go through the basics of toxicology, be on the exam. We also have the RS study guide that was put out by NEHA. And you can use that. We'll probably have it with us for the seminar. I haven't really gone through that one in any depth. I went through the original edition of it, and the questions in there were pathetically easy in comparison to the questions that were on the exam. And so students took the study guide, they studied through it, they thought they had it down cold, and they failed the exam. And for $185, I thought that was sort of a cheap shot. So use it with some caution. We also have other textbooks that you can use as reference book. Environmental Engineering Sanitation is probably the best book going. But it's also expensive. NEHA has taken over the publication of it and split it into 3 different books at $180 per book. It gets rather expensive. Maybe it's $85. Whatever it was obscenely expensive. So the other thing that you might want to look at is areas of the exam that you didn't have in class, or you didn't have a class